how to approach any girl in public without being creepy. Okay, if you've ever approached a woman, creeped her the hell out, and wanted to run away, and it was a terrible experience for the both of you, or even if you're not approaching women at all because you're scared you're going to creep them out, this is the video for you. What we're going to be talking about today is going to make sure that this never happens to you again. That after you're done watching this video, you will never have to be scared about creeping out a woman ever again, okay? And so strap in, buckle up, and let's go. Before we get into it, if you find value in this video, I want you to go grab the link from the description down below. It will take you straight to our community. There you will find all the tools that you need to create an amazing, abundant, epic fucking dating life for yourself and start attracting high quality women right away. So today we're talking about 3 things. Number 1, why have the ability to approach any girl in public in the first place. Number 2, how to approach any girl in public. And number 3, how to not be creepy doing that. Okay, why can I talk about this? Why should you listen to me talking about this? Dude, I used to be, well, I wasn't really creepy, but I definitely have creeped a woman or two out back in my time, and I learned how to not do this. I learned how to approach people in a way that makes them comfortable and makes them feel amazing. And in fact, even if nothing becomes of it, I know that the skill is there, and if I approach somebody, it's going to be a great experience for the both of us, even if it leads to nothing. And that's a great thing to have security over. So I've been teaching dating for 15 years now, and tons of approaches that I've done out in public, even on the street, have led to amazing stories and amazing experiences, and even to long-term, like one of my long-term girlfriends, I met on the street. I looked to the right, and she was there, and I said, "You're hot." Okay, so it's, I don't know, it's just very important to not creep people out because it leads to awesome stories. Okay, with that said, let's get into it. Why should you want to have the ability to approach girls or any girl in public in the first place? I want you to understand this. I want you to understand that being able to approach humans out in public at will and create relationships with them is a real life superpower. Not a lot of people can do that. And if you have this ability, people look at you like you're a fucking god amongst men. Okay. People can't do that shit. So the very few of us that can really do stand out. And the trick is, or the kicker here is that it's a lot easier than you think to attain. I know it kind of feels like a kind of a wall, but once you blow past it, you'll see how easy it is to actually do it. And it is fucking terrible to walk the streets feeling awkward if you're walking alone, because you're just like, you have this awkwardness, backward, like refrigerator hum almost, that prevents you from feeling amazing. That like when you go to the store to get a soda, you can't look people in the eye. This is social freedom, and this is so important to have. It's one of the most important types of freedom to attain. It doesn't matter if you're financially free and location free. If you're not socially free, you're still living in a prison in your own mind. Okay, I want you to really fucking understand this. So it is no good feeling constrained and feeling just like confined when you're walking the streets. It's not a good vibe. And at the same time, this ability is very foundational when it comes to dating. It's like, if you can't talk to a girl on the street, there's no reason to try to orchestrate some kind of situation that will provide you with like the next acquaintance. Like this is the first thing you need to tackle, bro. Okay, so if you don't have this ability, you tend to have no women in your life. And it's terrible. You feel lonely, you feel frustrated, sad, and angry. And that is not a good way to live. On the other hand, if you take care of this, this will start giving you confidence in all other areas of life. Okay. It will start adding more and more girls to your life. The compounding effect will take place. And everything will start snowballing. Because if you start meeting women and, you know, Start making it easier for yourself to approach people. Start giving your brain the evidence that you're not creeping people out and people want to fuck with you. Then slowly, little by little, that feedback goes back into your brain and into your personality and character. And it becomes easier and easier to approach women. And because of that, more and more women tend to like you. And then it just like, past a certain critical mass, it just snowballs, and it's like the experience of life just literally changes. So it compounds over time, and even more girls come. And the coolest part of all, because this is kind of what we all want, both girls and boys, okay? Ability to like cold approach a girl, whatever. How about this? Most people want this magical moment where the girl just like drops her credit card and the guy just picks it up, and their eye contact like meets in the middle as they're both coming up. And that's like how they meet. And it's like this magical moment. Now here's what happens. Do you remember the last time that this magical moment happened to you? Me neither. Here's why. If you don't take action, if you don't create this ability on your own to deliberately be able to do it at will, your brain shuts down visibility to those magical moments. You just don't perceive them because you know you don't have the ability to capitalize on them and do something about it. But once you start taking action and you start actually doing it, then your brain all of a sudden starts registering things that otherwise would be invisible to you. So when you start actually approaching girls and like finding this success and starting to experience this compounding effect, all of a sudden, these organic moments start actually happening. Okay, so this much to all of that. So how to approach any woman? What's the actual method? Number one, do not wait for the perfect opportunity. You must create the perfect opportunity. The perfect opportunity is never going to find you. Okay, this magical credit card moment, it will happen only after you've done your due diligence. You must create it. So how do we create the perfect magical opportunity? How do we seize the moment in that way? Well, you do the magic 10K walk. You just start doing 10,000 step walks every day, deliberately looking for the people that you want to connect with, to approach and create a relationship with. Okay, when you see a woman that you like, you go towards her in a straight line. Okay, now, you're going to say, Alex, that's all, good, but this endeavor can get a little scary. So how do we mitigate that? How do we beat the fear? Here's how to beat the fear. Here's how to beat the anxiety that you might have. Number one, let's talk beliefs. Let's talk level of beliefs. There are two beliefs that will prevent you from approaching any woman out in public and make you creep her out. Belief number one is what other people might see or do or feel or say. You might feel that other people might get in the way or try to protect the girl, even though there's nothing to protect because you're not a threat. Or other people will laugh at you or make fun of you. Okay. And you want to try to evade and escape and just neutralize the ridicule and the shame and the awkwardness. You just don't want to feel this feeling. And it all stems in the fact that you deep down feel you're doing something wrong. So here's a belief that will rectify that. Here's a belief that will fix that. I want you to understand that in the way that our society is structured and the laws work, which is, in my opinion, fair enough, is that you're able and allowed to approach any person you like, because they are able and allowed, in turn, to completely ignore you. So since this balance is completely fair, there is nobody to protect, and there is nothing to protect. There is nothing that's unfair. You're not doing anything wrong, because it is in their power to, if they want, completely ignore you. And that is completely fair. Okay, so knowing this, if somebody, springs up like knight in shining armor, jumps out of the bushes to defend the girl's honor, you can just look them in the eye and tell them, bro, what are you doing? It's within my rights to approach any girl I want, and it's within her rights to completely ignore me if she's not interested. Why are you in this equation? And if you tell somebody that and look them in the eye, they will have nothing to say to you. Okay, so knowing this belief completely takes care of what other people might feel or think about you approaching a girl. Obviously, you need to learn to deal with the pressure of attention, because when you're doing something out of the ordinary, which is approaching a girl out in the street, which a lot of people don't do, it will attract attention. If you're able to ignore the attention and be comfortable with it and not let it affect you and continue on course, that is the most attractive thing that you can do. And it's the best way to handle all of that. Because attention is not intervening. Like, people just looking at you, it doesn't really mean anything. You can just continue as planned. Okay, so if you do that, the girl is going to see how you handle this, and she's going to be all the more attracted if you're able to remain stoic in the presence of all of this attention. Number two, what happens with her? Like, because sure, other people, we kind of cleared this, but you might be scared of the girl as well, which makes sense. But I want you to understand this. I don't want you to go with the mindset of trying to get something from the girl, but I also don't want you to go with the mindset of we're trying to get nothing and we're singing Kumbaya. You're doing this deliberately for a reason. But what you're trying to get here is growth. So in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter what any one girl is going to answer or how any one interaction is going to go. Because in the grand scheme of things, what really matters is doing it consistently and getting to know amazing people consistently. So by the law of averages, you do it enough times, you will meet really cool people. And what any one result turns out to be is completely insignificant. So knowing this will make it completely okay to approach any girl, because you're just completely indifferent to the one single result. Okay, and I'll tell you something else which is really cool. A lot of clients of mine have started approaching girls as complete newbies and gotten better eventually. And multiple times it has happened that the same client approached the same girl on the same street that they had approached her 3 months ago. And every single time this happens, do you know what happens? The girl has no idea that she had been approached by the guy 3 months prior. So even the girl completely forgets the interaction if it goes badly. So there's really nothing to fear. Okay, there's really nothing to be nervous about. But on a physiological level, if you're still nervous and your nervous system gets activated, you can either box breathe, which I've explained in other videos how it works. Navy SEALs use it. You can feel free to look at my other videos and check it out. You can use the 3-second rule, which states that if you see a girl that you like, within 3 seconds, you must start moving your body towards her. Because what that does is it gives your brain zero chance to activate the nervous system and make you all anxious before you go. And number 3, you can have an accountability buddy who you give $500 to, who is instructed to donate the $500 to the cause that you hate should you not complete your approaches for the day. Okay, that will put you in a corner and that will make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. So yes, the fear might be there, the nervous system activation might be there, but there's all these solutions and ideas how you can take care of it and take action in spite of that fear. So, okay, we've basically negated approach anxiety now. So now you're not nervous or anxious anymore, and you have all these strategies to like take care of the fear and beat it. But what do you say and how do you say it? The first question is, okay, how to approach any woman? Sure, what do I say? The simplest thing you can do is give her a compliment. However, the way to do this is very specific. Okay, you want to give a girl a compliment on something that she worked on, that she spent some energy on. So it can't be the color of her eyes. It should be her outfit or her shoes. It's such an easy and smooth way to innocuously start a conversation. And it means absolutely nothing. It just makes her feel good. Okay. Excuse me, I like your jacket. Super easy. And when in doubt, if nothing else comes up, just go with, hello, you look interesting, my name is ... Super easy. Now, the question that the least of you are asking is how to do it. And that's the more important question. It really doesn't matter what you say, but it matters a lot how you say it. And I'll give you 2 hints here, or 2 tips. Number 1, I want you to be slow with your delivery. Okay. The way to be actually slow is go down to half the speed that you think is appropriate. If you're able to maintain a really slow and comfortable pace in the conversation, that puts you in control, and that also relaxes the other person as you're talking to them. Number 1. And number 2, I want you to smile. Smile demonstrates that you're not a threat, and if you approach a girl while smiling, yeah, you're not going to creep her out, man. Okay, so, but it needs to be a genuine smile, though. Like, the eyes need to be smiling along with the mouth, so along with the lips, so that it can be a real genuine smile and not a creepy, like murderous, like serial killer smile. So, with that said, let's find out how to specifically not be creepy. There are 2 things I want to stress here. Number 1, first of all, if you do everything else that we just talked about, this should be enough. But if you specifically want to not be creepy, just be aware of the need to be smart. Mind your surroundings and have situational awareness. So it's not enough to spot the girl and just make a beeline towards her and start talking to her. Your awareness needs to include everything else as well. So is she about to go through a door or cross a street, go through some sort of threshold? Or is she in a dark alley? Or is she about to go through a dark spot on the street? Or are there other people who might mind that she's being approached? Will this put her in a socially awkward position if somebody is talking to her? For instance, is she sitting somewhere where, there's an empty seat next to her and 2 glasses? All of these things you got to take into account. Or is she walking past a homeless guy? Or, is there trash around? Is like a big trash bin next to where you're about to start talking to her? All of these things need to be in your awareness. You need to be extra careful to deliberately, specifically talk to girls in open spaces where they don't feel threatened, where it's well lit, where, there is other people on the street, and just make sure you don't make it awkward for her. You don't put her in a difficult position. And number 2, I want you to commit, and that is the biggest part. If you want to not be creepy, commit 100% to your approach. That means your voice needs to be so loud that you hear it bounce off the walls. Because it is the guy who is afraid to be perceived by passersby who is a little creepy. Because he might be hiding something. He might be unsure of his own intentions. But if your intentions are clear, You don't mind being loud and making yourself known, okay? Because people are going to because you're okay with what you're doing and you're signaling that. That is so key, okay? And I want you to understand that if you second guess yourself before your approach and you are kind of in close proximity, you've already made eye contact maybe once or maybe a half a time, like maybe she's seen you and you've seen her, but not at the same time. Girls notice everything. So if you're hovering and not approaching, that is terrible. So the way to resolve this is to make yourself a promise that you're a 2 glances max type of guy. So if you glance a girl once, you can glance at her twice, but the second time, you must go approach. You will never glance at her a third time. If you haven't approached by the second time, you will never look at her again in your life. And if you give yourself that promise, that will ensure that you put yourself under sufficient stress where it's do or die moment every time you see a girl that you like. And that will cause you to commit. And if you do commit, you will never come across as creepy. With that said, I want to remind you about our community. If you're serious about your dating life, go grab the link down below. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.